The night Daniel Carter saved a stranger's life, he was already running late to pick up his daughter. The rain came down in sharp, slanted sheets, blurring the city lights and soaking his worn jacket as he sprinted across the intersection. His phone buzzed again, another reminder from the daycare about closing time. Daniel whispered an apology to no one in particular and pushed himself faster. Then he heard a sound that didn't belong to traffic or rain. A sharp cry, followed by silence. Daniel stopped it across the street. A black luxury car sat half-mounted on the curb, its engine still running, driver's door wide open. A woman lay collapsed on the sidewalk beside it, her face pale, her eyes glassy, rain streaking down her cheeks. People were passing by. Some slowed. Some stared. No one moved. Daniel didn't think. He ran out. He knelt beside her, heart pounding, mind racing through half-remembered first aid training from years ago. She wasn't breathing properly. Her pulse was faint. Panic clawed at his chest, but his hands stayed steady. "Hey. Stay with me," he said, even though her eyes didn't focus. He called emergency services, followed instructions, kept her airway clear, shielded her from the cold rain with his own body. Time stretched and twisted. Every second felt heavy. When the ambulance finally arrived, Daniel's arms were numb, his clothes soaked through. Paramedics rushed in, efficient and calm. One of them looked at him and nodded. "You did the right thing. You saved her." Daniel barely heard it. As they loaded the woman into the ambulance, she stirred. Her eyes found his for just a second. Confusion. Fear. And something else, gratitude. Then the doors slammed shut. Daniel stood there, rain dripping from his hair, reality crashing back in. He looked at his phone. 7 missed calls, his chest tightened. He turned and ran again, this time with guilt chasing every step. Before we continue this powerful story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Kind Heart Stories, where every story reminds us that kindness still matters. Daniel arrived breathless at the daycare, apologizing over and over as the exhausted staff reassured him that Lily was fine. His 6-year-old daughter ran into his arms, wrapping him in a hug that made everything else fade. That night, as he tucked her into bed, Daniel didn't mention the woman or the rain or how close everything had felt to falling apart. Lily didn't need that weight. He kissed her forehead and whispered a promise he'd made 1,000 times since her mother passed away. "I've got you," he said softly. Life moved on, daughter, so he thought. 3 weeks later, Daniel sat in a stiff chair wearing his only clean button-down shirt, wondering for the 10th time why he was there. The building around him was all glass and steel, polished, intimidating, expensive. A place where people like him didn't belong. He clutched a manila folder containing a resume that hadn't been updated properly in years and tried to slow his breathing. A woman in a tailored suit stepped out and smiled politely. "Mr. Carter? She'll see you now." Daniel stood, smoothed his shirt, and followed. The office was spacious, lined with books and warm lighting that softened the otherwise imposing view of the city. Behind the desk stood a woman. The moment their eyes met, Daniel froze. It was her, the woman from the rain. She was standing now, healthy, composed, powerful, but it was unmistakable. The same eyes. The same presence. Only now, there was something sharp and commanding beneath it. She smiled. "Not the polished corporate kind. The real kind. You probably didn't expect to see me like this," she said. Daniel swallowed. "I know. I mean, are you okay?" She nodded. "Thanks to you, yes. Please, sit." He did. "My name is Eleanor Wright," she continued. "CEO of Wright and Hale Industries." Daniel's stomach dropped. She watched his reaction with quiet amusement. "I've been looking for you for weeks." "I didn't even give my name," Daniel said. "You didn't have to," Eleanor replied. Security footage. Paramedic reports. "I wanted to meet the man who chose to stop when everyone else walked by." Daniel shrugged uncomfortably. "Anyone would've." "No," she interrupted gently but firmly. "They didn't." Silence settled between them, then she slid a folder across the desk. Inside was an offer letter. A real one. A salary that made his chest tighten. Benefits. Stability. Growth. "I'd like you to come work for me," Eleanor said. Operations support. "We can train skills. What we can't train is character." Daniel stared at the paper. His mind raced through Lily's tuition, medical bills, the stress that never seemed to leave his shoulders. "I don't understand," he finally said. "You don't even know me." Eleanor leaned back. I know that when it mattered most, you chose compassion over convenience. That says more than any interview. It was everything he needed, and everything he was afraid to accept. Daniel took the job. The change didn't happen overnight, but it happened. He worried less, slept more, smiled without forcing it. Lily noticed first. Daddy, she said one evening, swinging her legs at the dinner table, you laugh more now. He paused, then smiled. Yeah, I guess I do. Work was challenging, but fair. Eleanor was demanding but human, present in a way leaders rarely are. She remembered names, asked questions, listened. Over time. Conversations stretched beyond meetings. They talked about grief, about responsibility, about the quiet loneliness of carrying too much alone. Then came the twist Daniel never saw coming. One evening, months later, Eleanor invited him to walk with her after work. No agenda. Just air and silence and the hum of the city. You know, she said, staring ahead, nearly dying changes how you see people. Daniel nodded. He understood that kind of shift. I realized something else too, she continued. I had built an empire, but I'd forgotten how to let anyone in. She stopped walking and turned to him. You didn't just save my life that night, Daniel. You reminded me why it matters. The words settled between them, heavy, vulnerable, real. I don't want to cross lines, she said quickly. And I especially don't want to complicate your life. But I need to say this once, honestly. She took a breath. I didn't offer you the job just because I owed you. Daniel's heart pounded. I offered it because something about your kindness stayed with me. And still does. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Daniel smiled, soft, careful, sincere. I wasn't looking for anything, he said. But neither was I that night. I just did what felt right. Eleanor smiled back. Not as a CEO. Not as a survivor. As a woman, they took things slow. Pain respects patience. Lily came first, always. Eleanor understood that without being asked. The real turning point came one quiet Sunday afternoon, when Eleanor joined Daniel and Lily at the park. No meetings. No phones. Just a kite, laughter, and sunlight. As Lily ran ahead, Eleanor watched her go, eyes glistening. You built something beautiful, she said softly. Daniel looked at his daughter, then back at Eleanor. I almost missed picking her up that night. Eleanor met his gaze. And I almost missed everything. They stood there, the weight of chance and choice pressing gently between them. Sometimes, life doesn't change because of grand plans or perfect timing. Sometimes, it changes because one tired single dad stops in the rain, because one woman chooses gratitude over pride, because kindness, offered freely, finds its way back in forms we never expect. Daniel saved a life that night, but in doing so, he found a future. And Eleanor didn't just gain another day to live, she found a reason to live it differently, because when kindness leads the way, it doesn't just open doors, it opens hearts, and sometimes, that's the greatest offer of all.